Hello and welcome. My name is Munson Summer and I run a little music shop called Munson Music in Newberry, South Carolina. And we're going to talk about some exercises to get started on the guitar, just kind of starting from bass level 1, but giving you ideas that you can take from now until forever. So we're going to start with just the parts of the guitar so you know what everything is called. The big part is called the body, the long part is called the neck, and the piece at the very end of the neck is called the head. These pieces on the head are called the tuners, and they are used to tune the strings. This white piece right here at the very tip of the head to the neck is called the nut. And then these silver lines that go up the neck are called the frets, and each fret has a number. The first one is called the first fret, the second one is the second fret, and you have third fret, fourth fret, fifth fret, sixth fret, seventh fret. But you've got dots to kind of help you find your way around too. You've got a third fret dot, a fifth fret dot, a seventh fret dot, ninth fret dot, double dot is going to be 12. And then over that, it kind of keeps on going. You got 15, but we'll talk about this later, but 15 is kind of like 3 and 17. Oh, but anyway, 15, 17, 19. You may even have like a 21. You may even have another set of double dots. But other pieces, down here at the bottom, now on an acoustic guitar, you have just a large piece of wood, which we call the bridge. On this guitar in particular, this is called a trapeze bridge system. And so we call this, actually, this whole piece right here, the bridge. And then individually, I have some things called saddles. On an acoustic, this would be like one single white piece that goes on top of the bridge. So you have the bridge, and then you have the saddle. So it's like the saddle that goes on the horse that rides across the bridge. And at the very end, I have something called the tailpiece. Some guitars don't have tailpieces. Dreadnought, which is the most typical common acoustic guitar in the world, has no tailpiece. Other parts though, that we have a piece on the front to kind of protect the pick, we call that the pickguard. These parts right here, that are kind of like the shoulders of the body, we can call those the bouts, B-O-U-T-S. These are the upper bouts, and these being the lower bouts. In between them, sometimes that's called the waist. Then these things on the sides are called the sides. This thing on the back is called the back, and then this piece right here is called the heel, because it kind of looks like a shoe heel, and oftentimes it will have a piece in it that you can attach your strap to, and that's called the button. So the button kind of goes onto the heel. And then at the very end, I guess you could call this the end button, which is kind of stealing violin terminology, or you could call that the peg, which is kind of stealing cello terminology. And now other things on this particular guitar, this is an archtop guitar, so I have some fancy holes here that look kind of like F's, so we call those the F holes. I also have some things that help with the electricity of this guitar, because it is amplified, or can be amplified. And I basically have two things that pick up the sound of the string, so we call those the pickups. And this is the neck pickup, this is the bridge pickup, because it's near the bridge, and this one because it's near the neck. And and then I have this little switch that kind of switches between there, so I can get one kind of guitar sound, or I can put, or which would be like the bridge pickup, or I could put both of them together and get a slightly different kind of tone, or I could go all the way over here and then have a different kind of tone that way. So anyway, that's just something that if you have an electric guitar, then you may have a 5-way switch that switches between different pickup combinations. And you've got volume and tone knobs. In this case, I have a volume and a tone for one pickup and a volume and a tone for another pickup. So I have 4 little things here. So these are my knobs, my volume and my tone knobs, and this is my 3-way switch. And then I have the pickups that we were just talking about. And then where you plug it in, if you have a guitar that you can plug in, that's called the jack. It's like in a deck of cards, jack. Now the one part that we haven't talked about though, actually I did forget fretboard. Which is just that singular piece of wood that goes on the neck. Sometimes we do call that the fretboard. And then the actual like lower portion of the guitar is where the sound actually gets produced, so we call that the soundboard. So you have the soundboard and you have the fretboard. But the main part I was thinking of that I didn't cover yet is the open strings. And these are super important because everything gets related back to the open strings. Now sometimes they're numbered. And if they're numbered from the thinnest one to the thickest one. So this is first string, second string, third string, fourth string, fifth string, sixth string. And I've got a little mnemonic to help you remember the names of the strings, alright? So you could repeat after me if you wish. Every beginning guitarist desires another encore. So we have an E string and a B string and a G string. and a D string and an A string and an E string. So I think it's a good idea just to kind of play those and call them out just to kind of get used to the names of the notes. Can be a good singing exercise as well if you like singing the names of the notes. Actually, I think that just helps internalize everything. So you got an E, and then you got a B, and then you got a G, and then you got a D, and then you got an A, and then you got an E. And like I said, these are super, super important. So let's do that again. So we got E, B, G, D, A, E. So you want to get used to those so that you know them like the back of your hand, really, so that everything can flow really fast.